Welcome to the Ellis Talker Show. My name is D.V. LeBron. Today I have a very special guest, Mr. Dusty Autrey. He is the president of WISD School Board. Sir, I really appreciate you coming on. I have bugged you, and I apologize for that. I really wanted to talk to you and kind of get your what's going on in WISD, and so the parents can know. The parents could see what's going on. So I really appreciate you coming on. Now, as you know, Waxahachie has grown quite a bit. So what I'd like to do is, I'd like for you to introduce yourself to the people of Waxahachie and the parents that may not know you, and just kind of tell them about you.
Okay. Well, my name is Dusty Autrey. I'm the president of the Waxahachie Independent School District Board of Trustees. I have been serving as a trustee. This is the start of my 6th year. I have been the board president for, this is the start of my third or fourth year. I'm a lifelong resident. I have a child in Waxahachie who's a sophomore at the high school, and I had a son that graduated last year from Waxahachie High School.
Wow. Now, you've been here a while, and you're a local business owner as well. That is, so you have deep roots in the community, and 6 years is a long time to be on the board, so you must definitely love what you do.
I absolutely do. I love serving the citizens of my community. I'm actually about a 5th generation Ellis County resident, and my daughter will be the 3rd generation to graduate from Waxahachie ISD.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. I love that here. I love talking to the different board members and the different people around town who are in government and their ties to the community. I love hearing those kind of stories. So I didn't want to take up too much of your time, so I wanted to go ahead and go into COVID. I think that COVID is something that's been, obviously it's raised its ugly head again with this Delta variant. So if you could please tell me what the district is doing with COVID, and do you see yourself mandating masks in WISD?
Okay, so the district has taken several steps for COVID. Recently, we enacted it's like a color chart to where it breaks down every campus individually in Waxahachie ISD. And based on a percentage of how many positive cases we have, both staff and students determines where we are on the color chart. So we have green, yellow, orange, and red. Green, which as of yesterday, I don't have the updated COVID numbers today, we do update them every day on our website. As of yesterday, we had 97 total cases district-wide. That's staff and students. So the color code is if a campus has less than 4%, then that campus is green. It's considered green, which there's no restrictions as far as visitors, mass gatherings, anything like that. Every campus we have is green as of today.
Wow, that is cool. That's good to hear.
We have had in the past a campus, a couple that went to yellow, and if I remember correctly, we did have one to go to orange very, very briefly. We have not had any red at all.
And when these kids, when this happens, are the parents all notified, kind of like a mass email goes out?
I don't believe there's a mass email that goes out. The information is updated on the color system, and I do believe that if a campus changes from a green to a yellow or yellow to orange, then I do believe that those parents are notified, because there's protocols that go into effect with no visitors, depending on what level we're on.
Excellent. So is Mr. Autrey going to be mandating masks in Waxahachie ISD?
Well, Mr. Autrey doesn't do anything personally.
Right.
However, I personally would not support a mandatory mask mandate for a couple of reasons. One would be specifically our governor has forbidden it, and I have no desire to enter into a courtroom battle with the state of Texas, because every dollar spent in the courtroom is one less dollar spent in the classroom.
Yes, sir.
So that's number one. And then from a personal preference, I'm just a freedom of choice person, and if you deem that it's necessary for your child to wear a mask, I have no issue with that. But I do have a problem with mandating them being done, especially when it goes against the governor's orders.
Excellent. Now, I wanted to go into budgetary matters and taxes. So things that I see often online is people talk about their property taxes. Their property taxes are high, some people are being taxed out of their homes. You know, there's real issues with taxes that are greater than just the school board, obviously. But the school taxes are the majority of the taxes when you break it down on the three taxes, county, city, and the school board is the one that takes the biggest chunk.
That's correct.
So that said, were you able to, because you just went through budget.
Yes, sir.
Were you able to lower the rate? If not, why?
So the short answer question is yes, we were able to lower the rate. I want to go back to the funding thing first.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do know that that is the largest part of your tax bill. What a lot of people need to understand is we don't make the rules. The rules come from Austin, okay? All the funding is dictated from Austin. They make the rules, we have to operate within those rules.
Like,
Well, they determine basically what is an ADA, our average daily attendance, and then we get so much money per student, okay? And then House Bill 3, which is a very, very confusing bill, but they mandate us to basically how much revenue we can increase our budget by every year. We're capped by 2.5%.
okay.
So we don't make the rules, we have to operate within those rules. I'm just gonna give you a little bit of history on our tax rate, okay? I came on the board in mid-2015. So I don't have data going back that far, but from 2017 to 2018, our tax rate was $1.55 total, okay? Since 2017, our tax rate dropped. In 2018, it remained the same. 2019, it dropped to 10 cents. In 2020, it dropped another 9 cents. And then this year, with our last approved budget, we dropped it 2 cents. So our tax rate has dropped 21 cents in the last 4 years.
Wow, that is some serious tax cut.
It is. It is. You know, it depends on who you ask. Most people are going to say it's not enough.
Well, you know, that's always an argument. You know, what is enough? You know, people see it on both sides. Now, being the school board president, you get to see things that maybe I don't, or the citizens of Ellis County do not see on a day-to-day basis. And things cost more, or, you know, you have to allocate these funds. There's certain laws, so things are not just like a house budget. And sometimes people don't understand that. I mean, it beats me up sometimes when I'm looking at the budget and I don't understand. But those are things that you guys learn as board members and administrators when I talk to Mr. Hollingsworth about it. So are there anything in the budget that concerns you? You know, talk to me about the expenditures in the budget.
So I don't have a whole lot of specifics, but I will give you one number that's going to jump out it to me when I first saw it. The largest expenditure we have in the school district is our personnel. 85% of our entire budget is personnel. Our budget this year was a little over $107 million.
Wow.
Okay, so that leaves about, you know, about 87 million of it is personnel. So you have approximately $20 million for anything other than personnel.
Did you give raises?
We did give raises. We gave a 5% increase for our auxiliary staff, which would be, you know, maintenance or anyone other than non-teaching. Okay. Maintenance, our aid positions and whatnot, they got a 5% raise. They're probably the most underpaid in our district, and they're the backbone, and nobody ever thinks about it in education. They're vital to the education system. And then we gave approximately a 2% raise across the board for our teachers.
Oh, the teachers got 2%.
Yes, and the teachers have gotten a raise every year for at least the last 3 years that I can remember.
I know that you don't do so much in the personnel as the board member, but has the superintendent approached you, or have you seen the same staffing issues that some other school districts around here are dealing with? Absolutely.
I don't know of any school district in the state of Texas that doesn't need substitutes and doesn't need bus drivers. Or I haven't looked at our latest personnel report to see how many teaching positions we have open. I don't believe it's very many, which we're very, very blessed to not have any need there. There's always need, but I'm not aware of any openings at this exact support services, absolutely, we do.
Well, there you have it. If you're looking for a job, Waxahachie ISD could use you, so look
Absolutely.
into that. But going back to the budget.
Okay.
So, you cut taxes, for many years in a row. You're running a $107 million budget.
Correct.
And, the other thing that I wanted to ask you on the budget is debt. What are we running on in debt, and what are your thoughts on debt?
Well, I'm a businessman.
Okay.
So, debt doesn't really bother me because you have to spend money to make money in the business world.
Right.
So what that means that we have to borrow money to be able to build facilities for our children. That's the only thing that we borrow money for.
Just real quickly, are we building any new facilities?
No, sir, there are no new facilities under construction right now at Waxahachie ISD.
None planned, or
No,
some maybe later on?
Well, later on, we're gonna have to.
Right.
With a 4% growth every year, you have to have, we're working on a long-term plan for that as well.
Excellent. So going back to the budget itself, the debt service.
So the way our tax rate is, so there's an IMS fund, that's the interest and seeking fund, so that's the money that actually goes specifically to pay the debt. That rate has remained unchanged since 2017. It's still 0.3839 per 100 value of property value. So that's remained unchanged. Money's cheap to borrow. We've been able to refinance bonds too. We just refinanced some just a few months ago. Our long-term debt, yeah, it looks massive. We have 10,100 students in our district, and we're growing about 400 kids a year. So
That's growth. And with growth, yeah, you're right. It's sort of a situation where you have to spend money to make money or to even get results in terms of school.
absolutely.
So, that's definitely daunting. So there's nothing in the budget that you'd like to tweak, maybe next year you'd like to address a little harder than you were able to this year? Because I know that COVID kind of threw things in a loop. And nobody expected a pandemic. When you did the budget, you weren't like, oh, okay, let's have our pandemic fund. So is there anything that you'd like to work on going in the future with a little more stability?
Well, obviously, we haven't gotten all the data back from what we lost with our kids being out of school. We will have that by the time we complete our next budget. I would anticipate we're going to have to put some more money towards closing the gaps on some of those learning gaps that happened over the last year and a half. I think we're in a good spot for salaries across the board. That's something we have to look at every single year though to be able to remain competitive. But no, I didn't see anything in there that really concerned me. But obviously, it's very fluid, and that changes from year to year. You don't know what's coming. That you may have to do that. We approve our budget in August, end of August. We start working on it in like March, February. It's not a process that's just a quick fix.
Yeah, I was bothering you during that, so you told me a couple of times, hey man, I'm working on this budget. So
Working on a budget.
Yeah.
We just hired a new superintendent. Dr. Hollingsworth has only been here about 5 weeks now, 4 or 5 weeks. So there's been a lot of things going on around here.
I did have him on. Good pick. The man is. I was very impressed with his knowledge and his. A subject that's near and dear to me, special needs. So I wanted to go into real quick ESSER funds, because I know you got ESSER funds that came in. Where are those ESSER funds being allocated? And do you know if any of that is going to help specifically special education?
So I can give you a pretty specific breakdown. We have approximately $8.8 million in ESSER funds. Now that's we'll receive that over like a 3-year period, not all at once. Of that amount, we're going to get. They're giving $1,000 retention incentive to our staff. Okay, $1,000 for every returning staff member. So that's about $1.6 million. And during the COVID time, retention is very, very important. Then we have mental health. We're actually going to spend $600,000 specifically for mental health issues, whether that be suicide prevention or, I mean, there's all different facets of mental health that we're going to focus on.
Let me pause you there. Are you seeing an uptick in those issues in the district? Or you're just trying to get ahead of something?
I wouldn't say there's an uptick,
Okay.
but there's something that you always have to try to stay on top of mental health, okay? You have to. I don't know if you can ever do enough, but you still have to address it, you still have to try to stay ahead of that.
Yes, sir.
The technology, we are going to a one device for one student district, which is very difficult when you're adding 400 to 500 kids every year. But we're going to spend about $2.5 million of ESSER funds to get us where we need to go on that. And finding devices is also difficult, but we're real close to getting one-on-one. And then the bulk of our ESSER fund, which is almost half, $4.2 million, is going to be spent on curriculum and instruction, specifically to identify and close those learning gaps that were lost over the last 1.5 to 2 years due to COVID.
Okay, so it's definitely focused in some of those needs that we're trying to get to. Now that one-to-one thing, would that be like an iPad, sort of like an local?
Yeah, iPad or Chromebook, yes. Yes.
Okay, excellent. Those technologies, things help the kids a lot. Now, for a long time, the education system has been catered to, you're gonna get your high school diploma and you're gonna go straight to college. Well, we have a serious deficiency in tradesmen in this country. The phrase is the graying of the trades. As a tradesman, I've been able to provide for my family quite well, and I know that some trades can really make somebody excel in life. So CTE, something near and dear to my heart. Can you tell me more about what WISD is doing on the CTE side?
I sure can. First of all, I want to tell you, my father was a CTE teacher here in Wisconsin.
Wow.
He also, when he graduated here, he was in the CTE program. I'm a graduate here, went to the CTE program. My daughter's also in CTE, so we're 3 generations deep in CTE in Wisconsin. But I have some very specific numbers for you, and CTE is something that I'm really, really proud of in our district. I want to get you some very specific numbers. So, 89% of every student that walks into high school is in some type of CTE course. 100% of every student at Global High School is in some type of CTE course. Okay, so we're in the low 90% district-wide. Okay, so we have there's 14 clusters of CTE, whether it be health science, agriculture, building trade, automotive, or whatever. We offer all but one at Waxahachie High School. And our largest program, you want to take a guess on what our largest program is?
Mechanics, maybe?
Health science.
Health science.
Health science is our largest CTE program and growing by the day. You want to take a guess on what our second one is? Ag science.
Ag science.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Agricultural science is our second largest.
Well, I see your A&M hat. So.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah.
We just built a new agri-science facility out of the high school about, 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's full. It's full. This time of the year is when the kids start getting their projects. It will be full by the end of November.
Wow.
But I'm going to give you some other programs that we have. So last year was the first year we started offering CTE programs at the junior high. So kids can earn a high school credit, a high school CTE credit at the junior high starting in 8th grade. We offer principles of art and audio visual technology, business information management, and principles of agriculture at the junior high. So
at the junior
high, at 8th grade, you can get a start your CTE credit in 8th grade at the junior high.
Wow, that is fantastic.
So that is that's something that we just started. It's been getting bigger. This is the start of the second and third year, and it's gotten bigger every year. I'm going to give you another thing about it. So also in CTE, you can earn dual credits. Okay? So I'm going to give you a list of what you can earn a dual credit in through CTE. Cosmetology, very popular program we have. Welding, engineering, education and training, law and public safety. Okay? You can learn dual credit, dual college credits at the same time. Those CTE credits.
So you have a law and public...
Yes, absolutely.
wow.
We have Joe Herrera is a retired Waxahachie police officer.
Okay.
He's one of the teachers there, and I believe there's a secondary level one, and I do not know that teacher's name, but I know Mr. Herrera very well.
So you're pulling in law enforcement people from the community retired to help on these, or in general, in all these classes, you're pulling in people, field experts.
I want to get into that here.
Oh, yeah, I'm
Okay.
sorry, yeah.
All right. So
I'm all excited.
That's okay. So we have an opportunity to earn over 35 certifications within programs in our district. Okay, and that can be certification in food handling and safety through our culinary program. It can be welding, it can be auto tech, it could be floral design. They have a certification where you get a certified floral designer.
Okay.
So they're all across the board. I'm just going to show you where we've gone. In 2018, okay, we had 8 certifications out of all the kids.
8.
8.
Okay.
In 2019, we had 188.
Okay.
Okay. In 2020, we had 199. Okay. In 2021, we had 406 certifications that these kids had before they graduated high school. 406 individual certifications.
That's great. And this is after COVID.
So after and during COVID.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so talk to you about the business leaders, okay? So CTE is starting an industry leadership council this year. This is the first year about this, okay? And it's important for the community industry leaders to have a voice in our CTE program, okay? And so we're preparing students to enter the workforce, go to college, and become professionals, okay? We're asking the industry leaders to help us prepare these particular students, okay? So our CTE director asked me to please promote this. She
Yes,
said, so
that's
where we need advice on the newest certification in our industry and our students need help building professional skills, we have industry leaders in the community that can help build our students' future. So if there's someone out there that's listening, okay, that's interested in being part of that industry leadership council, please reach out to our director of career and technology. Her name is Miss Ashley Treat, okay? And you can call the administration building, or I'll even give you her email address. It's atreat, ATREAT, at WISD.org. She's only been our CT director since July. She replaced one that had been here for 2 years, Mr. Beneker. They have done a phenomenal job, as you can see by the number of certifications.
They're doing
That is happening. And have you ever been to our CT facility?
I have not.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what. You need to schedule a time with me.
I would love that.
And we'll go walk through there and we'll go look at all the things that these kids are doing.
And I'll put it on because I love this.
And if you'll contact, if anyone out there, they'll contact Ms. Treat, I'll be willing to bet she would set up a tour for anybody that wants to see it. There's not another one like it anywhere near us.
Now, do we have HVAC one?
We do not. So there are some trades that were in discussion last year in very beginning stages. We want to, at some point, include HVAC, plumbing, possibly electrical, and a few others. But those are the ones that are kind of on the forefront of how we're going to start it.
They are high demand fields.
Absolutely, they are.
High demand fields. So I can definitely, and I told Mr. Hollingsworth, Dr. Hollingsworth, and I'll tell you, I have a lot of contacts on the educational side, and I have 20 years in the field. For HVAC, and I would love to help the school in any way. So I'll reach out to Ms. Treat as well.
She'd be more than willing.
So it sounds like we're doing some really big things on CTE, which is it's very different to hear that, and I'm very excited for the students of Waxahachie with that. So moving on from CTE and then just kind of wrapping up because. I got another interview, but just wrapping up, I want you to go ahead and kind of tell me just real quick. I want to cover as far as I don't know if the numbers came out for STAR or that if you saw the numbers for STAR.
I'm not going to be able to give you any accurate information on that. We got some preliminary numbers a few months ago.
Okay.
And we were down, which we expected, and there were some areas that were lower than we expected, but there were some numbers that were better than we expected.
Okay.
So that's something that we're really fixing to start hammering on here rather quickly.
Okay, excellent. Well, I appreciate you at least addressing that. That's really good because like Midlothian, they were showing there was a lot of setbacks with special needs, with English language learners, with economically disadvantaged. So those things kind of suffered in those. So I was wondering if you had run into similar type situation and you're addressing it. So
That's coming rather quickly.
excellent.
Rather
Perfect. I'd like for you to just talk to the parents of Waxahachie ISD, Waxahachie, and kind of tell them what vision the board has going forward, because you are the president, the leader of the board, and although you're one of, many, you're pointing this shit.
Okay.
So if you could tell the people kind of where you want to go, what you're doing, and just kind of talk to them.
Okay, so actually, we're right now in the middle of a visioning process. Our superintendent is leading a visioning process, and they're encouraging anyone and everyone in WISD. We had a meeting on Tuesday night. Tuesday night. There's also a survey that is up on our school district website, Front Row Center. You can't miss it. We're encouraging people to go and take that survey. We're trying to get our community to help us establish this vision. It's easy for me to sit in a chair and go, hey, we need to do this, but we have 10,000 kids, which means we have at least 10,000 parents that we would like to hear from to help us establish a long-term vision and what our core values are. But we have an idea what they are, but we want to kind of hone them specifically to what our parents are looking for, because our community is changing every day. It's not like it was when I went to school here.
No.
It's not like it was when, 10 years ago. It's changing daily. That's why we're trying to go through this process. And then once we wrap up that process, then we're really going to move forward on where we need to go facility-wise. But we're trying to get as much input as we can from our constituents.
Parents, you heard it. Mr. Autrey says there is a survey online at Waxahachie ISD somewhere in there.
It's on the front page. As soon as you pull up that website, it's Front Row Center.
Well, you can't beat that. And get on there and tell them what you want for your kids, the future you want for your kids. Go ahead and take part in that survey. Remember, this is about all of us, getting these kids through school and getting them to be successful. And it takes parents. It takes parents, and it also takes people like Mr. Autrey to lead a school board and to make it happen. So get on there and give your opinion. Mr. Autrey, thank you so much for coming on. I apologize for bugging you so much, but man, I'm so happy to have WISD on here. I haven't been able to have you guys on here, so it's really cool. You really gave me some great information for the parents, and I appreciate you.
Sure. And just let you know, depending on how our visioning process goes, we should be completed with that by the end of the year, maybe the first part of next year. After we get that established, then myself, Dr. Hollenberg, someone will be more than happy to come back on and share that with you if you'd like.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'd love to keep an open relationship with you guys to just update the public.
Okay.
So, well, I thank you so much for watching the Ellis Talker. It looks like I'm going to go ahead and be taking a little break for a little while now that the election season is running down. I appreciate your time, and you take care.